Have you ever looked at your life and wondered, why am I still here? Why am I still stuck in the same place, fighting the same battles, repeating the same mistakes, and watching other people move forward while I stay behind? And the scariest part is not that you failed once or twice. The scariest part is that you are starting to believe this is your normal, that this is just who you are, that maybe success is for other people, not for you. But listen closely. That thought right there is not the truth. It is programming. Most people don't realize this, but your life is not controlled by your talent. It is not controlled by your intelligence. It is not even controlled by your situation. Your life is controlled by what your brain has been trained to expect. Your brain is like a system. It runs on patterns. It repeats what it has learned. And if your brain has been trained to accept struggle, delay, fear, and comfort, then it will keep pushing you toward those same outcomes again and again. This is why so many people feel trapped. Not because they are weak, not because they are lazy, but because their mind is running an old program. A program built from past experiences. A program built from childhood pain. A program built from rejection. A program built from failure. A program built from every time you tried and it didn't work. Every time you trusted and got hurt. Every time you dreamed big and life humbled you. Slowly, quietly, your brain learned one lesson. Stay small, stay safe, don't risk it. And that is the most dangerous prison on earth. A prison without bars. A prison where you can still smile, still laugh, still go to school, still go to work, still talk to people. But deep inside you know something is missing. Deep inside you feel like you were meant for more because you were. The truth is, your brain is designed to protect you, not to elevate you. Not to elevate you. It wants comfort. It wants certainty. It wants what feels familiar. Even if familiar is painful, even if familiar is toxic, even if familiar is destroying your future, your brain would rather stay in a known hell than walk into an unknown heaven. That is why people stay in bad habits. That is why people stay in toxic relationships. That is why people procrastinate, overthink, and delay their dreams. Not because they don't want success, but because their brain associates success with risk, and risk feels like danger. So every time you try to change your life, something inside you fights back. You feel tired. You feel distracted. You suddenly feel like it's not the right time. You start questioning yourself. You start doubting your abilities. You start thinking of all the reasons you might fail. And you call it logic. You call it realism. You call it being careful. But it's not logic, it's fear wearing a suit. And fear is not just an emotion. Fear is a habit. Fear is a program. Fear is a mindset that your brain repeats automatically because it has repeated it for years. It has become your default setting, and that is why today matters. Because the moment you understand this, everything changes. You stop blaming yourself like you are broken. You stop thinking you are cursed. You stop thinking you are unlucky. You realize something powerful. You are not weak, you are programmed, and anything that is programmed can be reprogrammed. Think about that. If your brain learned fear, it can learn courage. If your brain learned laziness, it can learn discipline. If your brain learned to quit, it can learn consistency. If your brain learned to settle, it can learn ambition. Your brain is not fixed. Your personality is not permanent. Your habits are not your identity. They are just repeated behaviors that became familiar. And the reason this message should hit you deep is because your future depends on whether you stay on autopilot or take control. Because right now, without realizing it, your brain is making decisions for you. Every time you choose comfort over progress. Every time you choose sleep over discipline. Every time you choose scrolling over learning. Every time you choose excuses over effort. Every time you choose to delay what you know you must do. That is not you making a decision. That is your programming choosing for you. And if you don't change the program, you will repeat the same year again and again. Different days, same results, same pain, same regret, same feeling of I should be doing more with my life. And one day you will wake up older, not older in age only, older in regret, older in disappointment, older in sadness, and you will realize that time didn't destroy you, your habits did. But here is the hope, here is the fire, here is the truth that can shake your soul. You still have time to rewrite everything. You still have time to become dangerous. You still have time to become disciplined. You still have time to become the person you respect, the person you promised you would be, The person you see in your imagination when you are alone at night, thinking about what your life could become. And the best part is, you don't need permission. You don't need motivation from others. You don't need a perfect life. You need a new mindset. You need a new internal system. You need a new brain pattern, because the moment your brain changes, your life changes. When your mind starts expecting success, you start moving differently. You start waking up differently. You start waking up differently. You start speaking differently. You start thinking differently. You stop begging for opportunities and you start creating them. You stop waiting for confidence and you start building it. You stop fearing failure and you start using failure as fuel. And that is why you must stay until the end of this video. Because by the end, you will understand something most people never understand in their entire life. You will learn how successful people are not born different. They are trained different. You will learn how to break the mental chains that keep you small. You will learn how to rewire your habits, your thoughts, and your identity. And once you understand the system behind your mind, you will stop living like a victim of your past. You will start living like the creator of your future. So ask yourself one question and answer it honestly. If nothing changes inside you, how long will your life stay the same? Because you already know the pain of staying stuck. Now it's time to feel the power of transformation. And it starts with one decision. Not later, not someday. Right now. Right now, in this moment, you have two choices. You can close this message, go back to your normal routine, and let your brain pull you back into the same life you already know. Or you can stay here and decide that today is the day you stop living like a person controlled by the past. Because the truth is simple, your life will not change until your mind changes. And your mind will not change until you understand one powerful thing. Your brain is not your enemy, but it has been trained to protect the wrong version of you. Your brain has one main mission: survival, not success. Not greatness, not dreams. Survival. Survival means comfort. It means avoiding rejection. It means avoiding failure. It means avoiding pain. That is why every time you set a goal, you feel excited for a moment, but then something happens. You start overthinking. You start doubting. You start feeling heavy. You start delaying. And you tell yourself you will start tomorrow, but tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. And one day you realize you have been living in almost for years. Almost disciplined. Almost successful. Almost confident. Almost consistent. And the reason you keep falling into that cycle is because your brain is addicted to familiarity. It doesn't care if familiar is good. It only cares if familiar feels safe. That is why your mind repeats the same thoughts. That is why you return to the same habits. So, this is why small daily actions matter more than big one-time efforts. Because your brain doesn't change through intensity once. It changes through consistency. And this is what people don't understand. You don't reprogram your brain by doing something big one day. You reprogram your brain by doing something small every day, because repetition is the language of the subconscious mind. The subconscious does not listen to your goals. It listens to your habits. That is why you can write goals on paper and still fail, because your habits are louder than your words. Your actions are louder than your dreams. And deep inside, you already know what you need to do. You know the habit that is killing you. You know the distraction that is wasting your life. You know the weakness you keep feeding. You know the comfort zone you keep hiding inside. You know exactly what is holding you back. And the painful truth is not that you don't know the answer. The painful truth is that you keep choosing the wrong answer. But today, that changes. Because the moment you stop seeing yourself as a victim of your mind, you become the architect of your mind. You stop begging life for a breakthrough, and you start building one. You stop hoping for change, and you start enforcing change. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, and you start creating the perfect moment through action. And when you do that, something powerful happens. Your brain begins to respect you. Your mind begins to trust you. Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build a new identity, a stronger identity, a disciplined identity, a focused identity, a successful identity. And the more you repeat that, the more your brain starts believing. This is who I am now. And once your brain believes it, your life has no choice but to follow. And that is the real reason most people never change. They try for a few days, they feel motivated, they start strong, And then the moment life becomes heavy, they fall back into the old habits. And they think it means they failed. But it doesn't mean you failed. It means your brain is doing exactly what it was trained to do. It is pulling you back toward what is familiar. It is protecting the old identity. It is protecting the old version of you. And if you don't understand this battle, you will keep losing it again and again. Because the truth is, your brain is not changed by knowledge. It is changed by repetition under pressure. You can watch 100 motivational videos. You can read 100 books. You can write goals in your notebook every night. But if your daily actions stay the same, your brain stays the same. And if your brain stays the same, your life stays the same. Your life stays the same. That is why most people feel inspired for a moment, but never transform. They collect information, but never build identity. And identity is everything. The person you become is not decided by your dreams. It is decided by what you practice. Every time you choose discipline, you are telling your brain, this is who I am. Every time you choose comfort, you are telling your brain, this is who I will remain. And the brain believes whatever you prove to it, not what you say, not what you wish. It believes what you repeatedly show through action. So if you truly want to reprogram your brain for success, you must stop thinking like someone who is trying. Trying is weak language. Trying gives you an escape door. Trying allows you to quit without guilt. Trying allows you to say, at least I tried. But success is not built by people who try. Success is built by people who decide, people who commit, people who become. Because when you decide, something inside you shifts. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop giving yourself options. You stop living like discipline is something you do when you feel good. You start living like discipline is your identity. And this is where the most important truth hits hard. Your brain does not reprogram through big motivation. It reprograms through small commands repeated daily. Commands like waking up when you said you would. Commands like working when you don't feel like it. Commands like staying consistent even when nobody is watching, because your brain is always listening to your behavior. It watches what you do and says, okay, this must be who we are. That is why one of the most powerful ways to change your life is to stop breaking promises to yourself, because every time you break a promise, your brain learns to doubt you. Every time you say you will start tomorrow and you don't, your brain learns you are not serious. Hint, every time you plan and then quit, your brain learns you are a person who gives up. And after years of this, your brain stops believing in you completely. You start feeling like motivation is missing, but motivation is not missing. Trust is missing. Trust is missing. Your brain does not trust your words anymore because your actions have betrayed them too many times. So the real goal is not to become motivated. The real goal is to become trustworthy to yourself. Because once your brain trusts you, your confidence becomes natural. Once your brain trusts you, discipline becomes easier. Once your brain trusts you, your self-respect returns, and self-respect is the foundation of every successful life. That is why you must understand this clearly. You cannot hate yourself into becoming better. You cannot insult yourself into becoming disciplined. You cannot shame yourself into becoming successful. That only creates more weakness, more emotional pain, and more escape habits. Instead, you rebuild yourself through proof, through action, through consistent effort, through small wins that tell your mind, I am different now. And small wins are powerful because they rewire the brain faster than motivation ever will. One day of waking up early will not change you, but waking up early every day for 2 weeks will change the way you see yourself. One day of studying will not transform your future, but studying every day until it becomes normal will create a new identity. One day of going to the gym will not build confidence, but showing up again and again will make your brain believe you are disciplined. And when your brain believes you are disciplined, you no longer fight yourself to act. You become the kind of person who acts. That is the moment everything becomes dangerous. That is the moment you stop needing inspiration. That is the moment you stop needing someone to push you, because your identity becomes the push. But understand this too. The brain will always test you before it upgrades you. The moment you decide to change, life will challenge you, not because life hates you, but because your mind needs proof. Your brain needs to see if this new version of you is real. It will create resistance. It will create tiredness. It will create excuses. And it will make distractions look more attractive. It will make comfort feel more necessary. It will whisper, just rest today. It will whisper, skip it once. It will whisper, you deserve a break. And that is where most people lose their future. Not because they were defeated by the world, but because they were defeated by a moment of weakness, a moment of temptation, a moment where they chose short pleasure over long-term power. And this is why discipline is the ultimate superpower, because discipline is not just about working hard. Discipline is about controlling your brain's cravings. It is about training yourself to delay pleasure. It is about becoming the type of person who can suffer today to win tomorrow. And that is rare. That is why most people stay average. That is why most people stay stuck. Because they cannot control their impulses. They cannot control their mind. They cannot control the voice inside them that keeps begging for comfort. But you can. And the moment you start winning those small battles, your brain starts changing at a deep level. You start feeling stronger. You start feeling sharper. You start feeling more focused. You start feeling hungry again. You start feeling like you are finally waking up, like you are finally becoming the person you always knew you could be. Because success is not something you chase. Success is something you become. And the moment you stop living like a victim of your mind and start living like the commander of your mind, your entire reality begins to shift. Your brain will fight you at first, yes, but if you stay consistent, if you keep showing up, if you keep proving to yourself that you are not the old version anymore, your brain will eventually surrender. And when it surrenders, your life will explode into a level you never thought was possible.